Alright. I wonder how the video is doing. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, I was fully expecting this video to flunk like the rest of the videos I make. I was in fact wrong again. I once again thank you all for participating in this dumb project of mine. And of course, I was introduced to more senseis I might or might not have missed. With that said, I'm going to talk about some of the new senseis I missed back into the first 3 tiers that they belong before going to the last 2 tiers. Without further ado, let's do a little backtracking. We'll talk about Kinotama Sensei first. Don't get me wrong, his works are amazing, but being in a doujin and having hot sex with students doesn't make him look like a fighter. At least, not a bit. Next, the artist mother of Shimiko, Ayami Garubino. Yeah, not really a fighter. She is a cute VTuber though. Omnord is another sensei with a different personality and nationality, as all the students seem to be familiar with Indonesian culture, which is a good different approach. He got pegged too hard by Kanako, enough said. Melissa HV2 Sensei, the Fox Lover. Yeah, all his works is just funny, just another sensei with a different personality. The fact that Height-Wei Sensei is able to be here is very... You guys read his works, right? Can I continue? Can I choose not to? Ikoru is another sensei with a very intimidating physique and look, but adores cute things a lot. Intimidation really plays a lot in this tier, huh? Next up is Inotsuko Hito Sensei. Not much to really talk about senseis in this category, to be honest, but he does have a gangster-like background. The most I can confirm is he survived an assault from Aru, which, by the way, despite being our cute student, is still a powerful mystic. So for now, he'll be in the capable tier. And finally, Clover Dot Sensei. He belongs to the giving extra care to students type. That's it. It's honestly hard to explain some sensei when 90% of their works are goofs. First one we're going to talk about in this tier will be Orga Itsuka from the Gundam series. Normally, at first glance, there's nothing to this guy. I'm so sorry for saying that. I cannot find any video presentation of him. However, he boasts a high intellect despite not going to school. He is also experienced in both close and range combat, just like John Wick, but his main trait is his ability to lead his team to victory, as he is also a military genius himself. Next, we have Walter White Sensei. Aside from being a genius of a chemist, he is also the guy who became a threat to well-known drug dealers and is an expert when it comes to weaponizing chemicals. For example, he faked making the recipe for his blue booger sugar and made mustard gas instead, made thermite to melt a big ass log from kid drawing boards, and whatever this is. His experience in chemistry is honestly godlike, which puts him in this tier. Next up, Baka King Sensei. I could say he's just like Doritabi, Lukishi, and other senseis with intimidation, but this man actually has some good physical prowesses. Not to mention, he managed to grab Koyuki by the halo, which by the way, would not be fucking possible. Next is Levi Sensei from Fear and Hunger. Now, I did some lore reading on this guy, and as it turns out, he was a soldier fighting in the war as a kid and survived. With that aside, he has also survived a fucked up world of fear and hunger, where like moon scorching exists, where someone is forcefully morphed into a physical embodiment of what they are. Scary shit indeed. So yeah, he definitely belongs here. Next, we have Tree Planting Sensei. You know, the one that married to Hina and had 2 daughters? If someone can deal with 3 individuals with powers equivalent to literal demons from hell, I don't see why he wouldn't be in this tier. Not to mention, if I'm not mistaken, he did fight side by side with them in one mission. I don't know, might have forget or something. And finally, we have Kiryu Kazuma Sensei from the Yakuza game series. Well, starting from basics, Kazuma achieved his current physique is because of the constant street fights he has been doing since his childhood, and still have been doing it cause, well, it's Yakuza. With that said, it's safe to say that he has a lot of hand-to-hand combat experience as well as the massive amount of fighting styles he knows. Now that's done, let's take the previous tier and say fuck human limits. Welcome to the Superhuman tier. The feats here are inhuman. Sechi Sensei is first, and oh boy, this little figure has survived the impossible. Here's the list of injuries, not much, just 3. Let's see. Getting repeated concussions from Arona, getting crushed into a pancake by Yuka, getting absorbed into a black hole that is created by Yuka and reappears alive and well. I know it's a cartoon, but hey, we don't discriminate. Next is Kankan Sensei. All of his works making the main story so fucking cool is enough to make people pop a dopamine boner. Anyways, normally taking damage would not count as able to defend their students, but Kankan Sensei here took a hollow purple to the chest and comes back in one piece. Protecc Sensei is next on the list for those who read the story, and I hope you did fucking not skip it just for the pyro scenes. Even in this weakened state, he is still under the influence of Chroma, and you might have guessed that Eldrin Abomination of a Sphere is powerful, and that's where Protecc Sensei got his powers at. Moving on, we have Bondru Sensei from Made in Abyss. He is indeed a good father figure as we see in the anime. Following that, in the anime, Bondru possesses a multitude of abilities that I'm too lazy to go through all of them, but hey, they are indeed powerful. Oh, here's a funny one. We have Asanagi Sensei next. I put the sauce in the description. This man has took over Kivotos with his Bina and happy little accidents alone. The face of America is up next. Armstrong Sensei. You've seen the memes, you watch the clips. Okay, this one's requested a lot. Korya 6 Sensei from Fallout New Vegas. Like I mentioned before on Joshua Graham's page, anyone living in an apocalyptic radioactive wasteland is bound to have some survival and combat instinct. Following that, since this is the main protagonist of Fallout, he is bound to have every weapon in Fallout with him, whether it be powerful calibers to energy weapons to giant indestructible mecha suits. And in his fanfic, he took out groups of enemies without needing the help of his power armor, earning him his position in the Superhuman tier. Next up we have Pager or Styx Sensei. Now honestly, I was gonna put her in extraordinary tier cause of her experience in firearms and military background, etc. But then a commissioner of her said that she is actually a cyborg who can copy the skills of her students, whether it's Yuka's fast calculation to Wakamo's destructive power. In fact, here's the comic where she copies Saori's gun. And it passes the fuck out. Next up, we have Roland Sensei. You all have no fucking idea on how many people requested this. I hear you, I saw you, I understand. The main issue is I still don't understand Library Ruina in the... Okay, forget my sudden lash out. From his fanfic, Roland does make a very good sensei from people's perspective and understanding of the lore. As for his abilities, what puts him in this tier is, obviously, as the tier says, he has superhuman physical capabilities to have him during his fixer times, which I still don't know by the way, and he's very good when it comes to using his massive array of weapons he hides in his glove of black silence, which includes a longsword, a lance, a hammer, an axe and mace combo, a claw and dagger combo, a katana, a revolver and shotgun combo, a pair of short swords, and a great sword, and finally a mask that hides his identity as well as makes his opponent harder to notice him. Following up, we have Pilot Sensei from Titanfall. God, at this point anything can be a sensei now, Alright, so pilots from Titanfall are pretty super modified humans to fight in a futuristic war of some sort. Still, they need to complete some tasks that is somewhat impossible for humans. For example, a requirement of the IMC Notorious Pilot Selection course is for a candidate to use a R97CN SMG to shoot a 10cm grouping at 25mm in a fully automatic fire after a 20km run. As I mentioned that they're super modified cyborgs now, they have sharp hearing with the aura implant to completely turn into robot killing machines. No, not that one, this one. Plus, they have better regeneration than humans. Next, we have the special grade sorcerer, Geto Suguru Sensei. Now, to be honest, Suguru will make a good sensei as he alone adopted 2 girls who are held in captive due to having cursed energy, Jesus, and took his own students while treating them like family. As for his abilities to defend his students, well... HMS Nelson Sensei. This girl is an entire battleship. The characters in Kantai Collection has large caliber guns that fires AP shells as body parts. Gintoki Sensei is up next. Despite his lazy personality, Gintoki Sensei is a very skilled samurai with immense strength, speed, and agility. To top that, he is very good when it comes to using a variety of weapons, but he chooses to use a wooden katana as his main weapon solely because he wants to protect instead of taking lives, which makes him worthy of this list. Next, we have the Firefox Sensei aka Furry Sensei. He's not really well known, but this video will be posted on Reddit nonetheless, so do check him out. He seemed like a really fun guy. After getting some info from the artist himself, he told me that Furry Sensei inherited the abilities from his genetically modified parents, granting him resistance to extreme temperatures, fire resistance, and is able to conjure flames from his body. He also possesses healing secrets for his wounds, which is something. And finally, Caiaphas Cain. Luckily for me, I have a friend who is a Warhammer 40k fan, and apparently Caiaphas Cain is essentially King from One Punch Man, as he is the luckiest and unluckiest man alive. Despite having only enhanced human capabilities, he is so lucky to the point where even superhumans will bow towards his command. In the Warhammer 40k universe, he is the most respected person and he has multiple achievements that he didn't even want to get for himself. He tanked a Gene Stealer Slash that is known to pierce through Terminator armor, parry and dodge all strikes from an invisible Dark Elder Succubus, dodge a hailstorm of fast-moving torpedoes, kill an orc that can kill demigods with a laser rifle. To the Warhammer 40k universe is equivalent to a flashlight, and never mind, there's way too many. But to think that even with these feats, he is still considered bad in the Warhammer 40k universe. Alright, with that crazy over tier list done, let's spike this shit to the backs. Welcome to the final tier, where they are known as the Guardians of Keyboardons. I introduce Eldritch Beings. First, let's take it slow and start with none other than Himiya Jozu Sensei. The amount of randomness of him and his works are just almost non-comparable. As for abilities, he can shapeshift to anything, ranging from a bird able to pick up some wave to giant excavators, and it doesn't stop there as his forms are inconsistent, just to make things even more funnier. To top that, he does occasionally has devil fruit powers, and yes, his works sometimes have One Piece content in it. Following up the randomness, we have Tom Sensei and Jerry Sensei. With the power of cartoons logic from the 21-olds, they can survive anything, be it either crushed by a safe, got a bullet in the stomach, and have their skull punched inwards. They're still alive and well, and never fail to make their students laugh, even in the most serious situations. Alright, with that done, let's put in some cool Dante Sensei from Devil May Cry. Essen Sensei, well, aside from being extremely funny and caring, yes. For being a good teacher, no. But the strength? Yeah. Dante in DMC5 has a variety of weapons, ranging from a sword to nunchucks that has 3 different forms to a bike, and of course, he is proficient with every single one of them, adding his strength, speed, and power. And let's not forget his Sin Devil trigger. With no doubt, he belongs in this tier. Of course, talking about Dante, we can't forget about his birth father, Sparta Sensei. Now, there isn't a part where we get to see his powers, but considering he is the father of Dante, there is no doubt that Sparta, the Prince of Darkness, will be in this tier. Next up, Rei Ayanami Sensei from Evangelion. I was very confused on where to put her cause of both her personality and the lack of info I can find. So I decided to make some confirmations, and it turns out this version of Rei is an angel. No, not an angel, this angel. And not to complicate things with the flood of lore on her birth, she died and reborn multiple times. Safe to say she's an immortal. Next up we have Tsukasa Sensei, also known as the Kamen Rider Decade. Now, as for what I heard from one of my friends who is a big fan of Kamen Riders, and apparently they are pretty fucking strong, but for Tsukasa Sensei, his version of Kamen Rider has the ability to copy other Kamen Rider abilities. Now they have the classic enhanced agility, strength, and durability. As for the Kamen Rider abilities, he has interdimensional travel and Koro Sensei is next. For being a sensei, it's literally in his name. Very supportive, understand his students very well, very intellectual, and most importantly, pervy. Now for his abilities, speeds reaching Mach 20, regeneration, multiple extended limbs, invulnerable to all attacks but one, and has experience in assassination. That checks out. Following up with Koro Sensei's Tentacle Madness, we have Alex Mercer Sensei from Prototype. I have no idea why would someone want to make a sensei out of a living virus with the memories of a human that created it, but I don't judge. But in terms of abilities, just like most powerful science biolab experiment monsters, he has super strength, speed, sense, endurance, and agility, regeneration from a single morsel, shape-shifting, and high adaptability. Oh yeah, he also survived a nuclear explosion. Next up, we have Goku Sensei from Dragon Ball Z. He is a Super Saiyan, who is already powerful, yet is still growing. Can I just not explain his skill set? Are you good? Alright, moving on. Following up with busted power skills, we have Doomslayer Sensei from Doom Eternal. He has superhuman speed, strength, agility, and all that. But the reason why he decided to move in human pace is because he wants to make demons suffer. To top that, when he so-called died in the game, he's actually just tired. If he wants, he could literally destroy hell in days. But of course, being the slayer he is, he'd rather savor the carnage. Okay, come to think of it, I think this feels like an off-brand death battle tier list. Next up, we have our favorite comedic, never-dying assassin, Deadpool Sensei. As a very funny guy and friendly at the same time, his time with the student will be very memorable if he watches the profanity. In terms of abilities, aside from his experience from his Hitman days that he can deflect a hailstorm of bullets using only his sword and even reflecting them back at shooters, his true ability comes from his regeneration. Though slow, he can regenerate from a single cell. Now, time for another sensei that comes from a different series that I have zero idea about, but still somehow managed to understand 0.1% of it. Fujiwara Ritsuka from the Fate series. If we're following the Ritsuka in the fanfic, he has traveled multiple universes and has experience in commanding operators, servants, Nikkeis, students to fight gods. And I was having a hard time to figure out what series other rest of the cast are from that Ritsuka commanded, but damn. Moving on, Doctor from Arknights, classic crossover. So my lazy ass had to ask the guy who listed his name, And oh my god, there is so much lore. What's more is I had to ask my friend about Doctor, which then dumped me with so much feats of them that my brain imploded and gave me a shock. So to not blow up my script with feats, I'm going to dumb it down to my level. Doctor is so smart that even gods fear them. So smart in fact that Orona and Plana seems to be the dumber one. Even superhumans and gods will listen to their command. What's more, Doctor has made an algorithm that predicts catastrophes with a 90% success rate. To wind things up, Doctor is not human. They are a special race that can even be put back together even when cut in half. Also, they can make cup noodles with its mouths, which I find very funny. Now, we here have another crossover well known, maybe, Sensei from Undertale. Why would he be here? Well...
This present to hold me. I have slept long enough. The kingdom of heaven has long since forgotten my name, and I am eager to make them remember. However, the blood of Minos stains your hands, and I must admit, I'm curious about your skills, weapon. And so, before I tear down the cities and crush the armies of heaven, you shall do as an appetizer. Come forth, child of man, and die.
Next up, Alarak High Lord. Not much screen time, but enough to show his prowess. Although once again, I'm not familiar with StarCraft nor the lore itself, so I'm going to become a lazy piece of shit and read this at the Versus Battle wiki. Though many things could be said of Alarak, him being a weak character in the verse is not one of them. Alarak displays some of the most devastating power in the series, matching, if not surpassing, the power of Artanis. He is equipped with two powerful side blades and a heavy suit of armor capable of generating force fields and amplifying his already immense strength, whether blasting down bases single-handedly or chasing after a god. Alarak is not one to back down from any task set before him. And I checked the wiki again on how powerful his strength is. It's multi-continent. And continents are fucking huge. Plus his so-called range can reach several hundred meters, not to mention his iconic subsonic deadly charge. And yes, it moves that fast earns him this tier, definitely. Time for someone we know, Gojo Satoru Sensei. For being a sensei, well, he already is one, and a good silly one as well. Now, for the reason why Gojo will be here instead of superhuman like Geto, it's the fact that Gojo has infinity. Literally anything but something that can dissect worlds cannot go through infinity. And plus his abilities are related to space itself with the concept of reflect and attract. Tanatoru Sensei is next. Now I haven't fully understood his edgy lore, but I can pretty much confirm that this sensei have some sort of stand-like ability, and plus he is immortal. Full scale abilities? Not sure, but he is confirmed a sensei. Alright, I know I shouldn't put this here, but this is my fucking channel and this is my OC. I introduce you Sancton Sensei. I'm just gonna show you this one image and tell me why he should be here. Okay, that's all the senseis that I hopefully covered, cause I still have stereotypes to clear. Even though it may take a month to come out, and I might do a part 3 if I miss some senseis, but still. I once again have to thank all of you legendary senseis in helping me in this hectic yet fun of a project. I had a lot of fun making this, honestly. Turns out anything can be a sensei as long as this girl gives a thumbs up and makes sense for the sensei to be a, well, sensei. I hope you enjoyed this tier list so far. If you want something else in this so-called gaming channel, feel free to comment on what you want to see. I'm going to go back to playing Street Nova in the meantime.
もございません。この暗い夜が気に入らない。この暗い夜が気に入らない。